The long-awaited Season 2 premiere of Milo Murphy's Law, the epic Phineas and Ferb effect crossover, just premiered on Disney Channel and Disney XD, and it was awesome. But the writers had many ideas for the crossover that didn't end up getting used, including one that almost made its way into the final episode. And it's pretty crazy. This all starts back long before Milo Murphy's Law ever premiered. When the writers were discussing Season 1 of the show, they had to write for a giant pistachian arc, which includes the Phineas and Ferb effect, which meant from day one they were already thinking about what was going to happen in Season 2. Basically, the story of the crossover had to be penned with the rest of Season 1 despite being a Season 2 episode. You can see proof of this as Danny Veter is credited for the story on the Phineas and Ferb effect, but not for the writing, as she left the show after Season 1 to move on to other projects. Oh, but Dan and Swampy weren't going to let on so quickly that the end goal of the larger story arc was to bring back Phineas and Ferb. Oh no, not one bit.
Is there going to be a crossover? Are we going to see characters?
Well, we would never
say no.
We would never say never. I think that's actually a really good idea because I think it would be fun to draw those guys again. What we've always said is that Milo sort of takes place in the same universe as Phineas and Ferb. Just so that we can make nods to that show and stuff like that.
Milo Murphy's Law was on September 29th, 2016. Disney XD released a rap video entitled "We're Gonna Do It Again," done by Dan and Swampy to promote Milo Murphy's Law on Disney XD. It's an absolutely amazing rap, and I love it to death. But there was one line in particular that captured the newly formed fandom, and it's this. Now this shot included what appeared to be a story outline for an episode of Milo Murphy's Law. So of course, the fandom took it and instantly began analyzing it. While the scripts held by Swampy were unreadable, there were some things that could be distinctly made out on the note cards on the bulletin board. Looking carefully, one card said Isle of Dakotas, which spoiled that plot point of the Dakotas being brought back from earlier in the season. Another showed the setup of Milo's "Life Gives You Lemons" joke, which made it into the final cut.
It's like my dad always says, when life crushes your lemons, stitch the rinds together to make a helmet.
Lemony fresh.
Another said Evil Orton's speech, which we also see in the final. Even others were jokes, such as "If you can read this, you're too close to the TV," and "Everyone dies," both meant to clearly throw us off track. However, they also reveal some removed plot points from the crossover. One is Evil Orton sending spy drones into the future, potentially to scope out who, if anyone, would defeat him. Writer Joshua Perrett has originally stated that the crossover was written with a feature-length story in mind, so many things had to be cut. Perhaps the scene with Orton and the drones had something to do with Isabella and the Fireside Girls, setting up their additional scenes and return later on in the finale. But the real gem on this board is the Ferb Betrayal scene. The actual card says "Battle Prep, betrayed by Ferb, surrounded." Now this matches up with the scene at the end of the third act, where they're attacked because Buford was live streaming their building the machine. Here's how the scene plays out in the crossover currently.
Quick, get to the robot. Maybe I shouldn't have been live streaming this.
In the original version, however, the card before says the suit almost sort of works immediately before Ferb's betrayal is revealed. This is because, as you know from the episode, the positive ions of Phineas and Ferb would both have to be present for the Murphy's Law suit to work. Thus, Ferb would not have been seen until the group got back to Lard World, and there is evidence that this was part of the original boards and animation for this episode. For one, in many scenes where Ferb would not be present after the capture, he's drawn poorly, with his eye on the wrong side as it was a rushed fix. In addition, in this shot where Isabel and the Fireside Girls are untying the gang, they forgot to add Ferb into the scene. This is likely because he would have showed up with Isabella already free in the original draft. Joshua Perrett has confirmed that the Ferb betrayal scenes were animated and cut in the final stages of the episode's production. In addition, there was a flashback which showed Ferb being attacked and being rather formidable in a fight with a pistachion before being subdued. It would have had a very horror movie vibe. I don't know about you, but we need to get an original cut with this betrayal in the crossover if the animation was actually completed, just to see what it was like. Feel free to view the image for yourself that I've been showing throughout this video, as there are plenty of other interesting things, such as Evil Orton testing the machine in the second act, a confirmation of his plan to turn humans into plants in the fourth act, and much more. Let me know what you spot in the comments below, and your theories about the other scenes and plot lines that got cut off. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.